All right, I'm gonna make some Spanish rice. So start with some oil, get my pan going, get it hot. Add a good amount of oil. So I'm gonna add my onions. I'll start with my onions first, then I can add my peppers afterwards. I've got some roasted hatch green chilies here that they roast here at Malara Gardens. I'm getting these started. So this is going to go pretty fast. You could make this with uncooked rice, which would be a great way of doing it, but because we're doing it here, I'm trying to make it fast. I've already made my rice, so it's just going to be pretty quick, and I'm going to make my ingredients and make it all pretty much done and then mix it in with the rice. So it's almost going to be kind of like a sauce. But if you did it like with uncooked rice, it'd give you more of an opportunity to use this broth that we're going to have left over, and that's going to absorb into your rice, and it's going to cook for, like, depending on what rice you have. If like I'm using basmati rice, and that takes like 20 minutes, but if you're using different rice, like brown rice, for instance, would take like 35 minutes or something. So didn't want to have you guys waiting around for that, or my customers either. So I'm just gonna get these like kind of transparent, and I can add my peppers to it now. I'm not sure if these were they have medium heat and kind of hot green peppers or chilies, so I'm not really sure what these are. Sure, I'll find out because yeah, Linda just said they were medium. So the smoke is coming the steam's coming my way. So I figured I'd be able to let you know by how much I tear up over it.
You want the Spanish rice now?
What's that?
You want the Spanish
Yeah, I
rice
am.
now?
Yep, Spanish rice. Clean off my cutting board here. Okay, let's get this going. Gonna add some garlic to this. I add a good amount of garlic to this. Maybe like that. I'm a real garlic hound. Great. And I always add some wine to stuff, some kind. I think I'm gonna add some Madeira wine. Just it'll taste great with the tomato. Get my mushrooms now. I'm gonna take them out of their broth. They've been hydrating for probably about 15 minutes. These are the Pearl Oyster Mushrooms. And I could tell I better get this off the heat here. Set that aside for a minute. I'm gonna rough cut my mushrooms here. There's some pretty big pieces, so cut them a little bit more than usual. What's my stove beeping over here? There we go. All right. Just add these in. And you know what? The ratio here, a little bit too much mushrooms. So I'm just going to set those aside. Don't want to overpower it with the mushrooms. Get my stove going again. Oh, you know what? That looks fine. I'm just going to throw the rest of these in. Just didn't want my ratio to be crazy only mushrooms. All right, gonna get a little color on these. And you know, I'm gonna add a little more oil because we have so much ingredients here. And we always want to add salt and pepper as we're going. Smelling pretty good already. Gotta watch out smelling it with them hot peppers though. I'm gonna use some crushed tomatoes because I want this to be more like a sauce instead of using fresh tomatoes. So these are just like canned crushed tomatoes. Still could use a little more oil. Might heat up a little bit more. Let these get a little bit of caramelization before I throw in my tomato. Because once I have all that liquid in there, and actually before I do my Madeira wine too, because once I have the liquid in there, they're not going to caramelize anymore. Use my little spatula to scrape down the sides. Yeah, getting nice and incorporated in there. All right, that's smelling pretty good. And I add my Madeira wine. To glaze the bottom of this pan a little bit. Let that reduce for a couple of minutes, or a couple of seconds probably. Cook off the alcohol. Add my tomato. Like I said, I want it pretty saucy. I'm actually going to add my broth into here. Pour that broth on in. And we'll let that simmer down just a little bit. Simmer down now. Is that what that meant? Simmer down. Are they trying to get their kids to simmer down? I'm going to throw some basil in here too, but I'm going to do it at the very end. just because the basil kind of it just loses its flavor.
I'll get it.
Great, thanks.
And we have all the recipes online as well too.
Did you grab a card? Please do, yeah.
Making some green chili with the half green chili that they're roasting. Next. And nice and nutritious too. So yeah.
With the mushrooms.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Okay, I'm just going to turn this down to a little simmer. So I could cook them tomatoes a little more without it just bubbling over. Get on this. Just going to see what our salt is, how much our salt we have. Probably a little more. All right, so I'm just going to take my other pan. And I just happen to use basmati rice for this, so not very Spanish as far as the origin of the rice, but I like basmati. It's not starchy. It breaks up real easy and just like the al dente texture. So I'm going to move this into 2 different pans because this is enough sauce for all of this rice, but it won't fit in one pan. So easy way to do this. Make sure this isn't burning on the bottom. I like using these straight bamboo scraper or spatulas. And I think we're pretty much good. I'm going to just take this, throw half in here, half in here. Stir this around. Turn this on to heat up this a little bit because the rice wasn't hot when we started. And so this is very similar to what it would turn out like if you were to simmer this, if you were to cook the rice from like just dried rice, from uncooked rice to, would have about this ratio of tomato in it. And I can only turn on one burner at a time, so that's why I'm just doing this one. And I'm going to taste it one more time because that's a lot of rice, and just tasting it for the salt and pepper content. Yeah, that's good. Pretty good. So I'm gonna kill this one, turn off this one, turn on this one, and cut up some basil to just throw in here. I like putting in basil, like I say, at the very end, because if you really cook with basil, fresh basil, it just it loses its flavor pretty fast. Cilantro go nice in here as well. I just don't have any cilantro handy, so I'm just cutting this up. You can see we're on location. That we don't have a motorcycle in our living room, of course, driving by. There's our fresh basil. Just stir that in. And this is ready to serve. So, ready to go.